The first official reviews have come out for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey movie, and so far it's being hailed by some of the critics who saw it as Nolan's crowning achievement. There have been lots of critic reactions following the world premiere in London yesterday, and I'm going to be discussing all of them and my reaction to them in this video. Before I get into the first reviews and reactions though, if you want to keep up to date on any of my upcoming content for The Odyssey during its release, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your notifications. But without further ado, let's discuss the official reviews and reactions for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. So the first reactions have come out for The Odyssey, and these aren't social media reactions or reviews from influencers, they are actual critics who have now seen the film in its entirety. They are calling it Christopher Nolan's crowning achievement, featuring stellar performances, surprising horror elements, stunning visuals, and colossal set pieces. What's interesting is that I've only seen 2 lukewarm reactions to the film, and even they mostly praised it, which never usually happens. There's always a bunch of reactions to a more positive leaning film that aren't so keen on it. But with The Odyssey, that doesn't seem to be the case. So let's get into everything that was said in these first reactions. Starting with David Crow of Den of Geek, who had a mostly positive reaction to the film with a couple of criticisms. He wrote, "Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is monumental on so many levels. Yes, it really does attempt to condense nearly all of Homer inside of 3 hours. But it also tackles it with more heart than any Nolan film since Interstellar, his greatest muse. At heart, beneath the majesty, Nolan reveals himself to be a homebody whose great fear, shame, is leaving home to do important things. Like Oppenheimer though, The Odyssey fixates on conscious, like this time, leaving and being unable to regain that domestic bliss. It's emotionally layered, but must admit, not the masterpiece of Oppenheimer. It crams so much, including overly cautious fantasy elements and curious real Greek history like the Sea People, that its scope outpaces even 17mm IMAX. But it is gorgeously outstretched. Eric Davis of Fandango posted quite a long reaction to the film, saying, "Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is an absolute triumph and a crowning cinematic achievement from one of the great filmmakers of our time. It feels like everything Nolan has been working toward with IMAX has culminated here. The production design is incredible, the action is breathtaking, and the scale is unlike anything he's done before. What really surprised me is how much he embraces the horror. Some of the film's biggest moments are genuinely unsettling, adding a whole new dimension to his filmmaking while never losing sight of the humanity at the story's core. The cast is stacked, and somehow everyone still gets a chance to shine. Anne Hathaway is incredible, Matt Damon is excellent, and Tom Holland continues to prove that he can do just about anything. But Robert Pattinson absolutely stole the show for me. Pattinson is so conniving, manipulative, and endlessly entertaining to watch. He leans all the way into the character's villainy, and it results in one of my favourite performances of his career. It's the must-see cinematic event of the summer, and quite possibly the whole year." Matt Neglia of Next Best Picture also wrote a glowing reaction to the film as well, and following his review, he put The Odyssey straight to the top of multiple categories on his popular awards race page. The critic said, "Christopher Nolan's adaptation of The Odyssey is as epic as movies get, with some of the most breathtaking set pieces he's ever attempted. A colossal achievement of scale, even by Nolan standards, his commitment to capturing as much as possible in camera using new IMAX cameras is a staggering technical feat worthy of this sprawling yet intimate story of one man's journey to return home, the burden and consequences of leadership, and the eternal struggle between mortals and gods." Matt Damon's screen command and glimpse into Odysseus' soul bring waves of enormous power to a larger-than-life and complex role. Anne Hathaway turns in an equally powerful and emotional performance as the steadfast Penelope. And Tom Holland's coming-of-age portrayal as Telemachus signals an exciting new era in his evolving career as a leading man. The cast is massive, but the supporting turns from Robert Pattinson, Himesh Patel, Samantha Morton, and John Leguizamo impressed me the most. Ludwig Göransson turns in another bold and memorable score that brings classical and modern music together into something wholly unique. And the soundscape is thunderous, knowing exactly how and when to dial the overwhelming sound back for maximum dramatic effect. I grew up loving grand sword and action dramas such as Gladiator, Braveheart, The Last Samurai, and yes, even Troy. And I'm beyond thrilled to say that Nolan's ambitious dissection of myth and legend looms large over them all. Whether you experience it in IMAX or a standard theatre, this is the kind of filmmaking and storytelling that we rarely see anymore and deserves to be honoured. Jacob Kleinman of Polygon further wrote, "I saw The Odyssey last week. It's Christopher Nolan's most straightforward movie ever, and also maybe his most impressive. Both the epic scale and attention to detail are absolutely stunning. The closest comparison I can think of is Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy." Jazz Tankay of Variety then posted, "I have seen Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and it is an astonishing achievement. It's a triumphant and spectacular epic. The performances from Tom Holland, Matt Damon, and Hathaway, John Leguizamo, Robert Pattinson, and Lupita Nyong'o are genuinely grand. For some, truly the best performances of their career. Christopher Nolan is a visionary, and The Odyssey is a work of art. Adapting a Homer classic is not easy, but he has done an incredible job of bringing this to the big screen and telling Odysseus' journey. He has outdone himself, and you could feel the passion in his storytelling. You feel the passion in the crafts and the acting too. Cinematographer Hoyte van Hoytema shoots to perfection, and the crafts in the costume, sound and editing, and Ludwig Göransson's score are phenomenal artistry and so visceral. The battle scenes, especially at Troy, are breathtaking. It is an incredible epic. Phil DeSemlin of Time Out also put, "Believe the hyperbole, The Odyssey is that film. Dense but accessible, packed with career best work from the stacked cast, Samantha Morton is extraordinary. It's a dizzying mix of craft and spectacle that's built to last. I've seen it twice and took so much away both times. It's a chilling vision of brutalized men seeing themselves in the eyes of women, a study of leadership, and an old-school sweeping adventure tale. Even the Cyclops got me in the feels. There's even a few laughs too, so go see it twice." Aaron Couch of The Hollywood Reporter then touched on the horror aspect of the film, saying, "Been seeing his movies in theatres since Memento, and after 25 years, The Odyssey gives us a first. It gives us a fleshed out horror sequence directed by Christopher Nolan." Moving on, Jacob Fisher from Discussing Film said, "The Odyssey is an incredible visual epic with some thrilling action set pieces and moments when Christopher Nolan leans into horror in such a cool way. All of the cast are on their A-game in this film, but Tom Holland and Himesh Patel stood out as surprise favourites." Jeremy Mathai of Slash Film also wrote, "Breaking my Twitter hiatus to say that yes, The Odyssey has the goods. It's Christopher Nolan's 10 Commandments, boasting a scope and scale that never intrudes on its intimacy. It's a grounded but faithful take on the epic myth with some clever revisionist flair. Himesh Patel is the MVP." Patrick Tommaso posted his general thoughts on the film, saying, "The Odyssey is Christopher Nolan's crowning achievement. He fully commits to the myth, and it's unlike anything he has made before. This movie is strange, stunningly beautiful, and the cast is doing their best work of their careers. Do whatever you can to see it in IMAX 70mm. Furthermore, Ian Sandwell of Digital Spy said, "The Odyssey is staggering, packed with intense and spectacular set pieces, often backed by a soul-rattling score. It builds to a final act that's as good as anything Nolan's done. Purists might balk at the adaptation changes, but as an experience, nobody is doing it like Nolan." Perry Nemiroff, the senior host of Collider, said, "The Odyssey is a filmmaking feast. It's a grand and gripping rendition of Homer's epic, and one that feels uniquely Christopher Nolan. It's sincerely hard to imagine any other filmmaker on the planet being able to bring that source material to the big screen with this much scale, scope, and heart. Nolan does a remarkable job of weaving the episodes of the story together, and does it all while never skipping a beat. He hits that magical balance of crafting a movie that flies, but also leaves you feeling as though you've just experienced a significant portion of the characters' lives right alongside them. What is a heavy contributor to making The Odyssey utterly riveting from start to finish. Well, all the jaw-dropping craftsmanship on display in the film, with Hoyte van Hoytema's work being as astounding as ever. So one breathtaking visual after the next, but also I know the team went above and beyond to shoot the entire movie on IMAX film cameras, and that effort pays off big time. It's a major reason why The Odyssey delivers blockbuster-sized thrills while also feeling incredibly intimate and character-first. And of course, that's also heavily tied to Nolan's roster of top-tier actors. For now, I'll put the spotlight on Tom Holland though, and while I'm often wowed by his work, there's something about seeing him jump from scene partner to scene partner in The Odyssey that had me in awe of his screen presence, his chemistry with his co-stars, and how clearly he's able to elevate scenes in a unique way with each and every one of them. Rachel Leishman, who is also of Collider, wrote, "The Odyssey is as epic as its source material, with that level of Christopher Nolan spark that makes it something special. It's a story of love and loss and takes you on quite the journey in only the way Nolan knows how. For me, it's breathtaking, bold, and perfection." And finally, David Elric of IndieWire gave probably the only other muted but still positive reaction to the film, saying, "The Odyssey is a surprisingly natural and less despairing Oppenheimer follow-up about a man haunted by defying the gods and dooming civilization. This one fights to avenge his own hubris. IMAX is obviously immense, but too clunky to be S-tier Nolan. But for me, the last act rewards the journey." So across the board, the early reactions for The Odyssey highlight its colossal IMAX scale, breathtaking set pieces, and a surprising embrace of horror, especially in sequences like the Cyclops encounter. Performances are repeatedly praised throughout, with Matt Damon's commanding turn as Odysseus, Anne Hathaway's emotional strength as Penelope, Tom Holland's coming-of-age Telemachus, and Robert Pattinson's standout villainy. And they are all singled out as some of the actor's career best work. A lot of these reactions further lean towards the film being both intimate and epic at the same time, a sweeping adventure that balances the mythic spectacle with human vulnerability, and supported by Hoyte van Hoytema's stunning cinematography and Ludwig Göransson's thunderous genre-blending score. So as a whole, the consensus among them is that The Odyssey is a triumphant, ambitious achievement, a rare modern epic that feels built to last. Hopefully it does live up to all the hype that was shared in these reactions, and honestly, I just can't wait to see what Nolan and his team have cooked up for us. But they were the first official reviews for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Of course, everyone's individual reaction is the most important, and these early reviews shouldn't really change that. But with all these positive reactions coming out for the film, I couldn't be any more excited to see it myself. I will be watching it on release day and giving you all my thoughts here on the channel in multiple uploads, so make sure to keep a lookout for when I post. But let me know down below in the comment section what you personally think towards the early reviews and reactions to the film, alongside whether it gets you even more hyped for its release. For much more videos and breakdowns, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, rating, and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.